Warmth. Written by Isaac Axel. Read by Arashi. Kyoko was always calculating. She was always thinking logically, and that often led her to overlooking a vital aspect: emotions. It wasn't something she was used to. She was used to numbers and hiding feelings behind a cool and perfect mask. She had crafted a disguise so perfect that she became it. She could hide almost anything behind her impassive face. Her voice never betrayed anything, and she had even perfected her posture and stance to have power without showing anything. Her father had tried getting her to open up, but with Hope's Peak and the steadily mounting pile of work, he didn't have the time to. She preferred it. It was easier to hide it. It was just what she was used to. The first time her mask slipped was with Makoto. He had burst past her walls with determination and almost reckless optimism. He was a ball of energy, and he had knocked down a small hole in her mask. It was nice to have someone care enough to do something like that. It was nice when Asahino followed. She bounded in and introduced Kyoko to things she had never experienced. She had helped her get a few childhood memories, and helped her when she came to terms with her sexuality. She did it all with a smile. She helped include her in her girls' nights. She made way so that Sayaka and Sakura could get past and be considered her friends. The rest of the class wasn't as easy. Ishimaru was easy enough to respect, but he had social issues as well, so it was not nearly as easy. Makoto had dragged Togami in, and they bonded over a lack of childhoods. When Mukuro and Sayaka started going out, Mukuro joined the group. The group expanded and expanded until they were all together, and there was only one thing left for Kyoko to want: a girlfriend. When she first realized she was bisexual, it had been weird and a little scary. The thought of acknowledging the feelings and speaking about them was daunting. Asahina had been very helpful, telling her about her experiences and just supporting her. Feelings were slowly becoming something she could accept and acknowledge, but feelings for someone? It was completely new. The first time she had feelings, it had been for Makoto, but those had been fleeting, and the new feelings were stronger. It took a little to realize who they were for, and when she did, it was nearly terrifying. Celestia Ludenberg. The class knew it wasn't her real name, but they always called her that. She was the self-proclaimed Queen of Liars, and the super high school level gambler. She was rude, cunning, and pretty. So pretty. She was smart. So smart. She could trick almost anyone and knew how to work a crowd. She had Yamada wrapped around her finger, and even if she was nicer now, she would still lose her temper easily. She would joke around on occasion, and would even take off her large hair extensions when she felt comfortable. She was still rude and arrogant, but she would relax and let her walls down. And when she did, Kyoko found herself blushing. She never acted out due to her crush, per se. She would just feel her face heat, and she would find herself stumbling over her words a bit. The others seemed to have noticed it, if the knowing smile was anything to go with. The two would go back and forth, with Celeste giving her a little bit before pretending she never did anything. They eventually became friends. Not the type Kyoko was with Asahina, but still friends. Asahina had helped her accept it, and even make her attempt to ask her out. It was awkward and tense, but it ended in a knowing smirk, lots of blushing, and a rather awkward relationship. The first few weeks were nothing different than before. Neither bothered to try and go further for a while. It was very comfortable, and Kyoko was happy with it. When Sayaka invited them for a double date, they agreed, and it suddenly felt very new again. Suddenly, it felt real, and everything was out of control again. Celeste seemed to be fine, but she was stiff and didn't seem to want anything to do with it. When they got back, Kyoko did something she never thought she would. She asked Celeste to talk to her about it. They did. It was awkward and stilted and very uncomfortable. But in the end, it was better. It was never acknowledged, but when they would hold hands or when Celeste would lean over and peck her on the cheek, it became normal. They would sit close together and sometimes even cuddle if they were alone. It was all very small, and nothing really changed, but it made it feel real. Kyoko would blush and melt in her girlfriend's arms whenever they were alone. Celeste would tease her endlessly for it, but it was a small price to pay for the soft moments when she would laugh softly and hug Kyoko closer. The way she would card her fingers slowly through Kyoko's hair as they watched movies together, the way Celeste would treat her cat like their child, and the way she would roll her eyes and squeeze Kyoko when they were sappy, made it all feel more real than anything. Even if it wasn't huge, it was happy, and Kyoko was okay with that. They had each other, and they would do it in their own way. They were content the way they were, and nothing about that would change. They were happy to live in their own little bubble and just be together. They didn't need anything else. Even the power-hungry Celeste had admitted it was nice, and that she wouldn't mind staying wrapped in a blanket together forever. And maybe Kyoko wasn't quite as cold as she thought. Maybe she didn't have to be.